What's up, everybody? This is Josh Schiffman here from JS9 Innings Media, and today we are joined by Steven Nelson for the JS9 Innings podcast. Steven, say hello to everybody.
Hey, JS9 Nation. Is that a thing? Do you call it that, Josh? JS9 Nation?
We can call it that. I
All right.
like that.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Sorry you have to bear with me for the next however long that Josh wants to have me on. Ian, we forgive you for not being here. I don't know what it is in your schedule that popped up, but next time we'll take a rain check.
Yeah, so thank you very much for coming on. This is awesome. I'm a huge Dodgers fan myself.
I see. I see the
Oh
shirt.
yeah, world champs, baby, world champs. But
Don't you forget it.
I really appreciate it. It's awesome being able to talk to people like you who I listen to just to watch games or whatever. But I really appreciate it. I'm a huge fan of you, Joe Davis. Obviously, I watched probably the first decade of my life. I got to see a decade of Vin Scully, which means a lot. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate this.
No, hey, Josh, thank you for saying that. Obviously, one of those is not like the other. We talk about Mr. Scully and then Joe and then this clown that you got in front of you here. But no, I'm glad we got to connect. I'm familiar with with your work and the way that you hustle and grind. Um it's not easy, man. People don't understand the amount of time and energy that goes into trying to build something like you are. So I'm glad we could do this, and I appreciate you extending an invite.
I really appreciate it. This is awesome, and I'm always gonna
No,
remember.
hey, you know what's awesome is this is awesome. This is awesome.
Best stadium in
Um,
baseball, right there.
it's not, yeah, not particularly close. So yeah, I figured this would be a nice setting for us. People are probably like, wait a second, no, I don't want to see your face. I'd rather see that. So
That's great. And can I ask? I'm assuming are you announcing today's game?
I'll be on radio. I'm on radio this series. Joe and Oral have television. And then I'll be back on TV for when Bobby Witt Jr. and the Royals come to town this weekend. So I'm pumped about that one too.
All right, awesome. That should be a good series with Bobby Witt.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
incredible.
I've yet to see Bobby in person. I've talked to him before when I was back at MLB Network. He's an awesome kid, and an electric talent, and he's quickly become one of the best players in the game. So that's similar to what the Dodgers and Dodgers fans just experienced in New York. The new balanced schedule. That's the beauty of it. Is now fans in different regions get to see established superstars or budding superstars that they otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think everybody here that we've talked to is like, God, I can't wait to see Bobby Witt. So looking forward to it.
yeah. Because I went to the Dodgers versus Yankees game on Friday with one of my
Oh,
friends, and he's a
what a
huge
game.
Yankees fan. So the last time the Yankees played the Dodgers at Yankee Stadium was in 2016. So this was huge. This is the first
Yeah, no,
game we got to see together. It was awesome.
yeah, and September 2016, it's legendary in Dodger fandom. Pantone 294, one of the big fan groups here. So that year that they took over Yankee Stadium, they snuck in that huge banner and did a road team roll call in the Bronx, which that rattled everybody. And, Andrew Freeman, I was riding on the bus with him that before the game on Friday, and he was still buzzing about 2016. But this time around, the Yankee ticket department, this is what I was told, is that they split up the Dodger fans, so there was only small pockets of fans, and not just one full dedicated section. But even still, man, I think you can speak to it being at that game. The "Let's Go Dodgers" chants were clear, they
Oh
were
yeah.
audible. It was an amazing showing. The Dodger fans that I talked to, it was good hospitality, good fun between the Yankee fans there. So I'm glad that everything went smoothly from that standpoint, and both fan bases were treated to an epic series.
It felt like a playoff game, honestly. The atmosphere was just electric. It was incredible.
No, yeah, spot on. I really thought like going into it, there's just so much hype and noise about the series, and anticipation, and first time back in New York since 2016, and the Yankees are the best team in baseball this year, and Dodgers have their quote unquote super team, and I was just like, I feel like with all the energy that's being put into building up the series, like it's going to fall flat. And I could not have been further from the truth. It delivered in every aspect. I mean, you got to see Aaron Judge at his height. You got to
Incredible,
see
by the way.
The best outing of Yoshinobu Yamamoto's early Dodger tenure. I mean, the velocity was one thing, right? He threw more pitches, 97 plus, like 4 times more in that one outing than he had the whole year combined previous. Then the emotion that he let out
Oh yeah.
at the end of his outing, like that, I think that was eye opening to a lot of people, and showing you what kind of competitor he is on the big stage. So there was just so many cool things just from an objective baseball standpoint from that series that um to steal a line from Doc Roberts, it was a shot in the arm, and something that this group really needed, and they answered the bell.
It did. Won 2 out of 3. Teoscar Hernandez had quite possibly the series of his life. It was
Yeah,
unbelievable, unbelievable.
yeah,
But
Teo, he's quickly become one of my favorites, just to be around. He's such a positive guy. He wants to play every day, so a little bit of a throwback in that way. Sort of like Freddie Freeman, he hates not starting. The Dodgers have asked him several times this year, "Hey, do you want a day? Do you need a day?" And Teo refuses to take it. So going back to the middle of the Pittsburgh series, so the night after Teo almost hit a go-ahead home run off of
off
Aroldis
Chapman,
Chapman,
yeah,
when Chapman threw his glove 6 feet under the mound, thinking it was gone. So I go into the clubhouse the next day, and I'm like, Teo, man, like I thought you got that. And he's like, man, like he was frustrated because he's like, I feel like I'm seeing it well. I feel like I'm hitting the ball hard, but I'm just not getting results. Like last night, I felt like I should have had 2 homers, but I was 0 for 4. And so now people look at me and I'm 0 for 4, but I feel better. And I was like, Teo, you're good, dude. You're going deep today. And sure enough, he goes deep.
he did.
And so the next day during BP, I'm like, Teo, and he's like, tell me again. I'm like, you're going deep again. And he didn't go deep, but he had a big knock.
Yeah, big
And so
double.
it's become a pregame tradition for these last 5 games now. I'll find Teo during BP. I'll go up to him and I'll just hit him on the chest. I'm like, you're doing it again tonight. So I don't think the run that he's on, I don't think we can stop the pregame tradition. So hopefully his run continues.
Maybe he'll hit one tonight. As of the recording, June 12th. June 12th.
Yeah,
Being recorded.
if I know, I feel like I probably shouldn't have outed the superstition that way. Maybe I'm messing with the universal energy, but the point is he's on some kind of heater right now, and he shows what kind of difference maker he could be for this entire lineup if he's going right. That it's not just leaning on Mookie, Shohei, Freddie, and Will.
Oh, 100%. And I hope they're able to figure something out and he can stay.
Yeah,
He's amazing.
yeah,
He brings so much. He's a big part to this Dodger lineup, and it's
huge,
really amazing to watch him.
huge.
So I wanted to talk to you more about your career and how you got started within
Sure.
broadcasting. So what made you like want to become a broadcaster?
So I don't, it's not a totally unique story, but my personal journey is just growing up being a sports fan. And my dad was diehard, right? He's from outside Chicago, and so it was baseball, hockey, basketball, football, it was everything. And so I wanted to, I want to be like my dad, and even to this day. But back then it was just I wanted to play. And so you grow up wanting to be a professional athlete. Me growing up, here in Southern California, LA County, and then Orange County, that was always my dream and my goal. Then in junior high, I took a video production class. And that really piqued my interest, just like the art of getting a shot and telling a story. Um, so those two things, my love of sports, and then this passion of, video production, and then like sort of the unconscious um or subconscious following of Vin Scully, Chick Hearn of the Lakers, Bob Miller of the Los Angeles Kings, so on and so forth. Like that really sort of shaped who I was. Now, the light bulb went off for me in high school. Like, hey, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be 6'3" like my dad. And this pro sports career is probably not going to happen for me. So I got to pivot. I got to figure out, college applications and admissions are coming up. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do. And so, one of the things that my parents taught me was, hey, if you're doing something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, right? That's an adage that I think a lot of parents have tried to impart on their kids over the years. And so in my mind, it was, all right, sports, video production, broadcasting, um, let's do it. And so I went to a small school in Orange County called Chapman, a little D3 school, down the street from Angel Stadium. And I sat in on a class when I was a senior in high school that was taught by Bill McAtee, who was a broadcaster for CBS Sports at the
Yeah.
time, calling the Masters part of their golf coverage, tennis coverage, so on and so forth, and changed my life. It like really just solidified and hammered home that this was the path that I wanted to walk. And so away we went. I went to school and did everything I could at Chapman, whether it was public address announcing, doing radio, you know, uh, building out the sports department for Chapman Radio, and then television, and doing a lot of internships, here in LA with KTLA and Fox Sports West and Prime Ticket at the time. And I worked for the Angels and Ducks when I was in school as a cameraman for the Jumbotron at Angel Stadium and the Pond or Honda Center in Anaheim. So, you know, um, that was sort of how I spent my college years. And yeah, then graduated, took a broadcast. I couldn't get a job, could not find a job. No local news station anywhere in the country wanted to hire me. So I took a unpaid broadcast internship in Rockford, Illinois, working for the Rockford Ice Hogs, the American Hockey League affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks. And that was my foot in the door. And then it was, I kept applying throughout that whole internship. And again, it wasn't like I was even getting responses like, hey, we're looking for something else. More often than not, you hear nothing. And so then I start to question whether I'm good enough to even do this and be in the industry. And so I finished my 1 year in Rockford. Don't have a job. Okay, well, I'm gonna move back home to Southern California, and I guess I'll just go back to working for the Angels, and Ducks again. I stop off in Colorado where my, then girlfriend, now wife, was working as a news anchor. And I sent off an email as I'd done a million times before, thinking, all right, well, I'm not going to hear from them either. And then sure enough, like 3 days later, I'm on the phone with the news director in Eugene, Oregon. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm driving up the coast to California from moving to Eugene. And so I was in Eugene, Oregon, local sports anchor and reporter for 2.5 years. Then I went to Bleacher Report in New York for 4 years, excuse me, and then MLB Network for 5. So that's the long and the short of it, of how I got the ball rolling in broadcasting. And then this Dodgers thing came up out of nowhere and a couple summers ago, and I still can't really fathom that this is real. That this is my job. This is not work. That this is my job now. So yeah, that's the basics of it.
Well, it really is awesome how sports can really create, you don't have to be in sports to like, you don't have to play a sport to like particularly like be in the sport, if that makes sense. So like
Yeah,
I
totally.
at a young age for myself, like I wanted to be a baseball player. I dreamed of being a shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I big Corey Seager guy. I'm also
Huh.
Kershaw's my favorite player of all time. So because my dad's
Yeah,
a Koufax fan and all that. So
sorry, I should have pointed the camera earlier. Kirsch was down on the field doing work. So anyway, no, this is two great heroes. Continue.
yeah,
Sorry, that was my
but
fault.
no, Kershaw's my favorite player of all time. But I always wanted to hit, so I was a big Seager guy. I remember when he came up when I was in starting sixth grade when he came up. So love Seager, but I wanted to be the shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers growing up, similar to Gavin Lux. I know he's playing second, but I know he
Yeah,
wanted to play shortstop, and then he got injured unfortunately that last year. But when I realized that I was not going to be playing baseball when I was older, I had the idea of making JS 9 innings when I was a sophomore in high school. Little, I didn't think it would last like this long or whatever. I thought it would last a week. I would forget about it, and then it
yeah,
turned into this. I'm gonna be a junior in college now, and it's very overwhelming. But yeah,
yeah.
it's
Some
yeah.
I can't imagine how you feel seeing something like this grow. Again, you're thinking it's going to be a short term, like I don't know, it's path time for a little bit, and then now you've built a machine, and so yeah, I hope you find a lot of pride in that because you should.
Thank
Because
you.
again, it's a really competitive and saturated space that I think a lot of us our dream is to work in sports, right? A lot of people want to do it. A lot of people talk about doing it, but to actually do it and do it successfully, those are very different things. So it's a credit and a testament to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And your journey is awesome. It's crazy how like just like you're working at one place, then you go to another, and then you finally reach
Yeah.
that really big job, and then it grows from there. Like for me, I'm gonna have to start applying to internships soon. I that's a college. I have
Uh,
to have an internship to graduate from
yeah.
Quinnipiac University. It's a
Oh,
requirement.
go Bobcats.
Yes, go Bobcats. That's right.
Come on now. So MLB Network, it runs NHL Network. I'm a big hockey fan, and so I'm aware of QU's prowess with the pucks, and
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, no, to your point about internships, I mean, I found those to be more impactful on my life and not just my time in college, but my life and my goals as a professional than the diploma itself. Those are where you get real life experience. You make real world connections. And it either opens your eyes to, new experiences or new paths, and it helps you hone in on what you want to do. So like, and I always tell kids in college who are interested in this field, um, if you want to be in front of the mic or on camera, that's awesome. That's what I wanted to do. But I made sure to do a lot of things behind the scenes, in the control room, in the truck, actually behind the camera, right? Because the more you know about what goes on behind the camera, the better you're going to be in front of it, because then you understand how much of a team effort it is, what it takes to put on a good broadcast, and how we are not the most important people on the crew, and things like that. So yeah, definitely want to impress that upon anybody who's listening who is passionate about this field. Do not get tunnel vision on the one thing you want to do. You have to have an understanding and a respect for the other aspects of the business as well. But um yeah, go talk to Rand Pecknold, Coach Pecknold, and he'll get involved with the Bobcat hockey program, and you sorry, I married those two last things together. You going to Quinnipiac, and then but the point being, like, all right, you want to be a reporter or whatever, go talk to, though, go get reps and talk to a coach like Rand and players and get the ball rolling like that. But you have to take advantage of this time in college, because it's like you just said, the junior year is going to come and go, and then senior year is going to come and go, and you're going to look back and be like, where the hell did my my college years, what, I just got here.
It's gone pretty
So
quickly so far.
yeah, yeah, dude, that is life, let me tell you. Chapman doesn't feel like that long ago, but then I look at the yearbooks, and I'm like, that was another lifetime ago. So you got to soak it up while you can.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And go Bobcats, by the way. Go
That's
Bobcats.
right.
Um, when for because of Quinnipiac we just brought up, the interim dean at the time, this was last year, so I went on foul territory for the first time ever, right when they started it. Scott, I first talked to Scott. I'm sure you're familiar with Scott as he was on MLB Network. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
Very,
work with
very
Scott and all the and Mark Weiner and all those guys there. Yeah, they're doing, and like, we talk about building something, right? Like, it's ballsy for them to try something like that, but they're pulling it off. So anyway, continue.
Yeah, that Scott's awesome. I was shocked. Like I was a freshman in college at the time when he asked me to be on the show, and obviously I was freaking out, very nervous. Never did something like that before, but it was awesome. But I sent it to the dean at the time. She's not there anymore, but she actually knew Scott. He was one of Scott's college professors a while ago. So the connection there was hilarious. And I sent it
Hey,
to her. It went through the whole School of Communications, and
yeah.
I got to talk to him, AJ Przinsky, Eric Kratz. I felt like I was dreaming. It was like really my first like big thing. It was surreal.
Yeah, I mean, that's all crazy. I've never met AJ, even though I grew up a White Sox fan, and so AJ obviously a huge part of my upbringing in that '05 World Series. But Kratzy's awesome, Scotty's great. Like, they really do have a good crew there. But you telling that story, it reminds me of another thing that I think people have to understand, right? Everybody uses that cliche, "Oh, what a small world," right? And it is a small world, a lot smaller than people think, and a tiny industry within that, right? Everybody knows everybody who knows somebody. And so the point, or the thing that I want people to take away from that is, don't be an asshole. Like, and it sounds simple, but like, you know, being a good teammate and carrying yourself with humility goes a long way, because we really are all replaceable, right? Like, I couldn't, the Dodgers could put somebody else in that booth here tonight, and the show is going to go on. People are going to listen. People are going to watch Dodger baseball regardless, right? Um, and so, to if I were to carry myself as if I thought I was bigger than, um, and be arrogant, and have an ego, like, I hate people who operate that way. So, um, so that, yeah, I hope people understand that, as you meet all these people coming up through college, and as you start your career, like, one, all those people know somebody, right? And if you develop, you carry yourself in a way that gives you a reputation for, you know um being a dick, for lack of a better term, that'll follow you around. And so, don't be a dick. Again, so yeah, that is a part of this equation as well. Should be a bigger part of it than it is, unfortunately. But those are my 2 cents.
That's why I really fell in love with Clayton Kershaw. Obviously, he's my favorite player of all time because
Mhm.
he has such a great rep around the league. He's been with the Dodgers for almost 2 decades, which is crazy. Once he retires, my childhood is officially over.
You're
But
officially old, yeah.
yeah, no, but but from what I've learned from him is you just you go around, you do your business, but you're also a nice person. He's a great baseball player, but he's an even better person
Yeah.
outside of the
Yeah.
game. I mean, you
Yeah.
see all the work he's done. Kershaw's challenge. He has the
Yep.
ping pong tournaments each year to raise money. I mean, he's awesome.
Yeah.
And oh man,
Yeah. Again, like just another one of those guys, and the Dodgers have a bunch of. They got a great clubhouse, but a lot of guys who understand that it's bigger than them, right? Like um, what you do between the white lines, like that's for people like us in the media to talk about and elevate or denigrate in some cases, right? Like compare and contrast, greatness, all those things. But you know, for him, like for any pro athlete with their platform, like part of their legacy is what they do to impact others, right? And I think Hirsch is a big example of that. It was someone who's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's going to have a statue here outside the Dodger Stadium one day. But because of the work that he and his family have done over the years, he'll be remembered for a lot more than just um, throwing strikes.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, he's awesome, and he's had such a huge impact on just not the game of baseball, but just society in
Mm,
general. He's
mm.
awesome, and he's a great role model, especially for myself, who's watched him for
Yeah,
decades.
I hope you get to have him on one day. He's not a huge social media guy.
Yeah,
He's not a huge media guy in general. But no, I hope you get to cross paths with him.
I hope. I mean, my dad's a big Koufax guy, so there's a
Yeah,
lot of correlation between those him and or
definitely.
Sean Koufax. So
Yeah,
it would mean a lot. It would be a dream come true. Who knows?
yeah, something to work toward, man.
I hope that would be awesome. That would be awesome. But I wanna ask. So now that you're with the Dodgers, just what's it like just being a part of like the Dodgers organization? It's the word.
it's
It's amazing.
it's yeah, man. It is it's um it's the honor of my career, man. People talk about dream jobs, dream come true. Like I can't say that for this because this was not didn't even dream it, you know. So to be here now, like, and have a more personal and intimate understanding as to what makes this organization go, right? It's not just the baseball ops department, but the entire machine that is the Dodgers org. It's pretty dizzying, And so when I got hired here, I really didn't feel like I deserved it. And so my goal every time I show up to work is to make sure I earn this opportunity, don't know how long I'm going to be doing this for. Shoot, we don't know if tomorrow's guaranteed for any of us, right? And so as long as I'm here and putting on that headset, a headset that was, you know, worn by the greatest to ever do it in Mr. Scully, right? Like there's a responsibility. And so that I carry that with me every time I pull up into the stadium and walk in and sit down in the booth. So um it's amazing. Look, and like just the all right, here comes the loudspeakers at Dodger Stadium, the loudest sound system in the league. Um, um, but doing this job, it's a blast as it is. But when you have a team that wins consistently, it makes it more fun. And then you sprinkle on top that you have, three of the best players in the game, um, and the most talented player of all time. Yeah, that dials it up even more. So uh it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. And I should ask this before when we were talking about Kershaw, but What's it like being able to cover and watch Clayton Kershaw?
So Kershaw is a special place in my heart because up to this point, he's the focal point of my favorite highlight in the Dodgers broadcast booth. And that was not he won his 200th career game. The Mets were here at Dodger Stadium, and he was throwing an absolute gem, but it was a tight game. And the Mets had traffic on him, and Tommy Pham was batting, and everybody knew that this was the game. This moment, this plate appearance was the game. And he struck Pham out, and I intentionally did not say anything in the few seconds after. I just let Dodger Stadium and Clayton Kershaw speak for me, because I think
Remember that.
I think as broadcasters, you have to understand that a lot of times you have to let the moment breathe. One, but don't be afraid to let the fans and the players talk for you. And so that's what I wanted to do in that moment. And he struck Pham out, and he let out a roar. And man, it's still to this day, that moment gives me chills. So look, these are like you talk about growing up being a fan of Kirsch, him being your guy. So when you know who those players are in every team. These are guys that you tell your kids and your grandkids about. Like,
Oh yeah.
we got to watch so and so play. And while this is definitely the back nine for Kirsch in his Hall of Fame career, the fact that last year when he was healthy, and hopefully the second half of this year when he's healthy again, I'll get to say that I called games with Clayton Kershaw. That's
Yeah.
that does not suck. That does not suck. So
I will cherish every start that he
yeah,
takes, because you
yeah.
never know when it's going to be the
You
last.
know, Oral every time last year. That was it's. I'm glad you said that, because whenever I would do a game with Oral and it would be Kershaw starting, he said, it's Clayton Kershaw. It's not Kershaw Day anymore. It's Clayton Kershaw Appreciation Day, and that's right, because we have to appreciate every single opportunity we have to watch him pitch again. So yeah, that's spot on.
For sure. And going back to that the game against the Mets, that roar you're talking about,
Yeah.
that's my phone background.
See, dude, wow, how about that? How cool is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, that one's gonna be tough to top. That'll be tough to top for sure.
That is that's definitely one of my favorite moments of him, especially
Yeah,
that, the no-hitter, him winning the World Series. Oh,
yeah, yeah.
where they cut to him and
The list is the list goes on and on and on and on and on for Kirsch.
I want to ask about Ohtani. You were on the call for his first walk-off hit,
Yeah.
the showstopper call. That was take us through that. That was I love that call, by the way.
Thanks, man. I again, like we're really just riding coattails as broadcasters. The an old coach cliche is that players win games, and for broadcasters, it's players provide moments, right? And Shohei Ohtani is someone who craves the moment, and more often than not rises to it. And that was really epic. What do you want to know about that particular day? I mean,
Just what did it like? What was the atmosphere in the stadium when it happened?
oh, I mean, again, it was we talked about it on the broadcast right before. It was like everybody had stayed. It was um an early season game against the Cincinnati Reds, right? This wasn't like October, but people stayed because they knew that was a chance. Like they're gonna and I'm glad that the crowd that day understood what was in front of them. That hey, this is the most talented player we've ever seen, and I'm gonna stay here instead of getting a head start trying to beat traffic. I want to stay here for that potential moment. So it was electric, one, and when it happened, it was I put up the clip of the booth camera from that. Like, you saw me standing, man.
Yeah.
I stand a lot during games, but definitely, late clutch situations. Um, because at the end of the day, I'm a fan like everybody else, right? And I, so I was feeling the same sort of emotions, like just wanting to see a guy come through, and he did. So um, that was a big highlight. Another one that I'll remember forever. And I'm glad that the call resonated with a lot of fans, and that it didn't suck. Me being the perfectionist that I am, in the aftermath, I'm like, I wish I would have, done this, that, or the other, but it happens, and that was a special one.
That is a call I will never forget. That's just like,
Oh man,
I feel like that's like
thanks.
that's Shohei's welcome to the Dodgers moment right there.
Definitely, yeah.
Obviously, it was a little late into the season, but he's had other moments. But I feel like that's like that
No, no doubt. I
specifically.
mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I agree with you wholeheartedly. So here, hopefully, there are many more moments like it. Well, we don't need to do a bunch of walk-offs, because there's a lot of stress involved with those. Uh, but no, it's something I hope he has a chance to do again.
That
Sorry,
would
I'm
be
just watching
awesome.
the pregame work here, trying to do some studying.
No worries, no worries. Pretty cool view you have, by the way. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Dodger Stadium since like 2012. It's been a long time. I gotta get back out there. Such a
Yeah, yes,
beautiful
yes,
stadium.
you do, man. Yes, you do.
Such a beautiful stadium. Awesome. That's great. The Dodgers are awesome. We get so much hate, I feel, but
And it's there's a bowler, Pete Weber, right? He's a guy famous for saying, "Who do you think you are? I am." So when he retired, I thought he delivered a beautiful line. He said, "Love me or hate me, you watched." And so I think the Dodgers are like that. Obviously, you have fans like yourself who love them, and we talk about them all the time. They bleed blue, right? There's
yeah,
also a huge portion of the Major League Baseball world that hates them, and they want to see them fail. But you know what? They watch, and that's part of putting the Dodger jersey on, right?
that's right. That
Yeah,
is absolutely right. And
yeah.
it's great being a Dodgers fan. I want to ask you, what is the best advice someone has given to you in your broadcasting career?
Um, so I've talked a little bit about it already, right? I think in terms of broadcasting, um, you know, having a respect and understanding for the behind the scenes work and roles that are involved in putting production on. So again, the more you know about what goes on behind the camera, the better you're going to be in front of it. I believe that wholeheartedly. Um, Another thing is finding your voice, right? And what do I mean by that? So I think you grow up watching or listening to broadcaster, whether they're play by play or they're hosts on Sports Center, or whatever, and you're like, oh, I want to be like them, which is great, but you can't be them. You have to be you, and the only way that happens is by going through a lot of different reps, right, and making mistakes. And so, me going to school, right, I think that you can get turned into a little bit of a cookie cutter, right, because they're teaching you all the things, all the mechanics that work and sound the best for professionals. But in that, you might lose a little bit of yourself. And it took me a while to find it wasn't until my job at Bleacher Report that I realized, like, hey, like, I don't talk like this when I'm with my friends or my family talking about sports. So why do I do it when I get on camera? It doesn't, that's not me. I'm not being myself. And so over time, I learned that, like, hey, I didn't want to be pretending to be somebody. I didn't want to be a caricature of a broadcaster. I didn't want to be someone who was emulating somebody else. I wanted to be the best version of myself. So finding your voice is huge. and embracing that and being unapologetically yourself. I think those are the first things that come to mind when you talk about advice for the industry, or advice in the industry. And again, another one that I said earlier, I'll say it again, is that we're all replaceable, right? So whatever position you ascend to, like, do not get it twisted. Like, you know, the show will go on without you. So while you're in that chair, you treat your teammates with respect, carry yourself with humility, and hopefully the rest will take care of itself. Those are things that I've leaned on in my career, and I've been blessed beyond belief, and so I will keep leaning on those.
I love that. That's a phenomenal answer. I think that's great.
Thanks.
I wanna ask, growing up, what was your like favorite call from any sports announcer that like really stuck with
Yeah.
you? Could be any sport.
Yeah, I know the answer to that. It'd be Gary Thorne, the Stanley Cup Final, New Jersey Devils and the Anaheim Ducks. I'm not a fan of either team, but I was a fan of Gary Thorne and a fan of this call. So Scott Stevens, former captain of the Devils, one of the most legendary and feared defensemen of all time. He leveled Paul Kariya. And I like Paul Kariya because he's Japanese, I'm Japanese, and so knocked him out, just out cold on the ice. So if Kariya goes back to the dressing room, it's like he's probably not coming back. And in today's day and age, with I think the emphasis on taking care of players with head injuries, I don't think that he would have come back, but he did in that time. And so you could look at Paul Kariya, Gary Thorne, and so Kariya they get the puck in their own zone. They're coming through neutral ice. Kariya gets the puck, and Thorne goes, "Here's Kariya. The fans want one," and Kariya winds up and scores. And it says he's off the floor, on the board. Paul Kariya stuck the landing, laid out. It's every time I listen to it, it gives me chills. It was an epic moment, and the call matched the moment. And so that's the first one that comes to mind for me.
That's great. Is there a baseball one that you like growing up?
So yeah, again, growing up a fan of the Chicago White Sox, like Hawk Harrelson was the voice of the Sox for
Oh, yeah.
my whole life. So you could pick your favorite Hawkism, and everybody talks about the home run call. You can put it on the board, and then Darren Jackson would come in, yes, and they say it together. He gone. I say that all the time with even just with my wife at home, like talking about whatever. Like he gone, she gone. So all those Hawkisms, there's, I can't pick out one specific moment, because I just, I love them all. And then following Hawk with Jason Benetti, who's, one of the best in the business going right now.
Now with the Tigers.
Now, yeah, which is insane that the Sox allowed that to happen, but then, that's a different conversation.
Yeah. No, he's also great. I think
Yeah,
he's
he is.
phenomenal. Also, Dave Sims. I'm big Dave Sims guy. I think he's great.
Sims is my guy. He has been become a friend and a mentor to me since I've been in the league, and I'm with you on Simsy. Someone who, if I'm a Mariners fan, when there's a big call and Dave Sims is on, I mean the Mariners broadcast team is fantastic all across, like Rick Riz, Goldie, like
Yeah.
they do a terrific job. So I really like their depth chart, quote unquote, and they're all fantastic humans. So I could not be bigger fans.
I'd say the Mariners, like obviously it's Dodgers before anyone else for me.
Yeah.
But I'd say the Mariners are probably my second favorite team. I enjoy
Interesting.
Dave
Yeah.
Sims a lot. He's awesome. I remember they didn't make the playoffs in 2021, but they were like a game off or whatever. They lost.
Yeah, it came down last game
by a
of the season.
But Mitch Haniger hit the single versus I believe the Angels, and Dave Sims went crazy one of
Yeah.
my favorite calls ever. And then the Cal Raleigh walk off to send them to the
Yeah.
playoffs the next year. That's also one of my favorite calls.
No, again, he's the guy who I talk about meeting the moment. He does that consistently, and he's a great ambassador for the game, for minority broadcasters, broadcasters of color. Like he's a total package, total package.
He's awesome. He's great.
Yeah.
He's awesome. But I think
All right.
that's pretty much everything I got for you.
Awesome, man. No, it's perfect timing. I do gotta get going and get the pregame work in, but I'm glad again. I really enjoyed the chat, man. It was a good, fun hour getting to know you and getting to hang out a little bit, talk some ball. So again, huge tip of the cap to you and what you're building, man. Keep going, keep being you, and keep loving the game. Like truly, that's I can sense that's where it comes from. It's just the deep-seated passion for the game of baseball. And so the fact that you have been able to turn that into, this content operation, that is the dream for so many people. So don't forget that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You got it, man.
Thank you.
All right, Josh. You be well, and let's go blue.
That's right. Thank you very much. And hopefully Teo will hit another one tonight.
I know I gotta go catch him before he leaves.
That'd be great.
All right,
We'll
man.
see.
Be good.
All right,
See
man.
ya.
I really appreciate it. Have a good one.